And remember, you said you're going to pay scientists a lot of money.
On Tuesday, Speaker Anita Mong directed the Minister for Health to table before the House evidence that allowances of medical interns have been paid. This followed several disputing statements from members of Parliament after the State Minister for Health, Honorable Margaret Muhanga, informed the House that the interns had called off the strike after being paid.
The dentists and doctors were paid 2.5 million, the pharmacists 2 million, nurses and midwives 1.5. However, Right Honorable Speaker, July and August were paid from the first quarter, but releases were inadequate, and thus we paid September and October in this quarter. That's the areas that we had.
We have met the leadership of the medical interns just an hour ago. They have explained that they have never been paid. They have never been paid, even after a pronouncement that they were paid for September and October. They have never been paid. They have not even called off a strike. They have not even been met.
The issues on which the interns are striking about is also on the issue of salary discrepancies. The president directed that the interns be paid half of the salaries of their seniors. But what is happening is that the Ministry of Health has decided to apply their own salary scale.
People are complaining about patients not attended to because somebody is casually attending to duty. It's unacceptable. Will the minister explain and give information to this House how many lives were lost and who is accountable for this criminal negligence?
The Speaker also tasked the Prime Minister to present an update to the House on the establishment of the Salary Review Commission.
The Salary Reviews Commission or board arrangements and discussions are now almost concluded through Cabinet, and as soon as they are, definitely we shall be here on the floor of Parliament not long to go and present that board before Parliament.
At the same sitting, Parliament directed government to ensure funds allocated to the sports sector in the 2022-2023 financial year are released. This followed the remarkable performance by Uganda's national netball team, the She Cranes, which emerged fifth in the first 5 netball series in New Zealand last weekend.
I would like formally to recognize the team for their exceptional performance. This House ring-fenced money that was going to sports. The money is not released as per what this House gave. And when you look at sports, it is a very good tool for mobilization. It is the best thing for tourism. It is better than nyege.
The Minister of Finance has adamantly refused to support the sports fraternity. I wanted to seek your guidance. If it would not be right for us to invite the minister again for the 4th time to come and commit himself here on the floor of Parliament, that is going to give the sports teams and the Minister of Sports all the money that Parliament appropriates for them as per the budget.
The reason why we were not able to release the money in totality is because in the first quarter, we did have challenges of resource mobilization, owing to the fact that we're just coming out of aggressive COVID and we're not able to mobilize revenue from our taxpayers forthcoming. But I want to give you the good news that this has gone to the past and we've been able to mobilize resources, and we will release the money that was appropriated by Parliament for sports to its full totality.
On the day, Bukoto West Member of Parliament, Honorable Muhammad Sentai, was granted leave to introduce the Consumer Protection and Management Bill. Sentai said the enactment of a consumer protection law in Uganda will enable the setting of standards for the quality, safety, and reliability of goods.
A consumer protection law is necessary to offer protection of the law to consumers, not only against fraud and dishonesty in commercial dealings, but also oppressive bargains and qualitative deficient goods and services.
We have had a situation where even government directs banks not to increase interest. Loan officers not to go hunting for people during COVID times. But you know they would still go. There is no law. Right, Honorable Speaker. Provide for this fairness in business. Provide for shields. Provide for cushion and protection. Promote fairness and equity. We believe we need this law, and therefore I stand.
Alcohol is consumed by many people.
Tororo District Woman Representative Honorable Sarah Opendi also sought to introduce the Alcohol Control Bill that will regulate drinking. Opendi is concerned that the harmful use of alcoholic drinks causes a high burden of disease and has significant social and economic consequences like domestic violence that often results in harm to people.
Government has been grappling with the need to regulate the manufacture, sale, access, and consumption of alcohol in Uganda. The current legislations have their weaknesses, Right Honorable Speaker, and we need stringent measures or penalties to control the consumption of alcohol and also its production in the country. Honorable members, we are not stopping people from drinking. All we are saying is regulating the sale, the production, consumption. There must be hours. People can't drink from morning till evening.
I would like to allude to the fact that many heavy alcohol consumers do not take care of their families. It's a major source of domestic violence, failure to pay school fees and take care of their children and wives.
On Wednesday, members of parliament expressed concern over the president's delay to assent to the Markets Bill 2021, with Speaker Anita Among directing the Prime Minister, Robin Anabanja, to follow up. Parliament passed the bill in February this year, and according to Article 91 of the Constitution, the president is expected to assent to a bill within 30 days after it is passed by the House.
Those with the responsibility of transmitting the bills to the president should remind him about the constitutional duty he has of the 30 days. I know he's very busy. I am a president. I know how busy we can be. But you see, Honorable Speaker, when it comes to matters of the constitution, unfortunately, you have no choice but to follow the law.
The president we have, Your Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has all the knowledge that he is talking about. He's an experienced president. Your Excellency, the president will assent to the law, but sometimes he has also to consult. And I believe he's still within the mandated days.
In the same sitting, the Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness, Honorable Esther Anyakun, presented the National Disaster Risk Management Plan to Parliament.
The vision of the DRM plan is a disaster-resilient Uganda capable to anticipate, prepare for, and coping with all disaster risks. The total multiple sectoral and also hazard-specific DRM plan is around UGX 10 trillion.2. That's approximately $2.77 billion.
One of those which is key and fundamental was for this Ministry of Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees to have a separate vote.
We have not got any indication that the system being used at 4 p.m. is not robust enough to enable us to transact with them.
In September 2022, following a statement presented to Parliament by the Shadow Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Muhammad Mwanga Chivumbi, Honorable Mpuga, the leader of the opposition in Parliament, accused government of issuing expenditure limits, but thereafter failing to make corresponding releases, which he said is responsible for causing financial paralysis in many agencies. To this claim, Anita said the releases match the expenditure limits set by government.
All government agencies are able to spend up to the expenditure that has been provided through submission of warrants and expenditure requirements. There is therefore no difference between expenditure limits and releases.
They give agencies a cash limit. that this quarter you'll spend this amount of money. It's not necessarily that that's what will be released. Because the releases depend on cash availability. And agencies go on to spend, anticipating that they'll have that money. Consequently, that money is not released to them.
We have an approved budget. We subdivide it into 4 quarters. We do what we call releases. These at the same time, we call them cash limits for the quarter. When entities receive cash releases or cash limits, they begin invoicing or
Warranting.
Under normal circumstances, what is warranted should be paid. But the current circumstances now require the warrant to be in a queue. You warrant, as and when cash is available, we pay.
And I must thank you for being transparent, really. But we need the money. Where you get the money is not our problem. You came here and told us you're able to raise 25 trillion from collection. So we are waiting for that.
I want to move that this parliament be pleased to have a select committee.
On Thursday, the Speaker appointed a parliamentary select committee to investigate operations of the National Council of Sports following inconsistencies in statements regarding release of funds to the subsector. The committee was named by the Speaker, Anita Among, after a motion was moved by Honorable Asuman Basalirwa during the plenary sitting.
Honorable Kanusoli chaired the committee. Honorable Solomon Kayemba Solo, Honorable Isavire Idi, Honorable Donald Donald, Honorable Achibu Agnes, there is Honorable Margaret Mahor.
The National Council of Sports was allocated 47.81 billion shillings for 51 federations across the country for the financial year 2022-2023. The State Minister for Finance, Honorable Evelyn Anite, and the State Minister for Sports, Honorable Peter Ogwang, gave contradictory statements on the release of the funds to the sports federations for the first and second quarters. Anite said that 19.2 billion shillings was released for the first quarter, while Ogwang said that 27 billion shillings was released for the first and second quarters. Honorable Moses Magogo, however, said that sports federations had not received any funds for the 2 quarters. This prompted the Speaker to call for a harmonization meeting between the 2 ministers, the shadow ministers for Education and Sports and Finance, as well as Honorable Moses Magogo. Anite, during the plenary sitting on Thursday, then said that it was ascertained that the money released to the federations is 17.1 billion shillings.
With powers entrusted in me by the Constitution, I will cause a forensic audit in this, in addition to what members will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We therefore adjourn the House to 2 tomorrow.